Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our next matchup for UFC 322. In this one, we have Bogdan Susurkaev taking on Eric McConico. Susurkaev is 10-0 as a professional, currently 1-0 in the UFC, but if you count Contender Series, he's 2-0 under the Zuffa banner. Meanwhile, Eric McConico is 10-3-1 as a professional, 4-1 in his last five fights. 4-1 in his last five fights, 1-1 in the UFC. For Susurkaev, he's been on a hot streak since getting his win in the Contender Series, which was only 2 months ago when he destroyed Mustarin Tahali, then made a quick turnabout about a week later to fight to submit Eric Nolan at UFC 219. Now he gets an even bigger. Now he gets another sort of big spot on an MSG card as the second fight on the card. Taking on Eric McConnico, a veteran at this point. And been around the block at this point. And made his debut this February where he got knocked out by Nurutsian Ruzaboyev, then defeated Cody Brundage via split decision this August in a short notice fight where they both fought at light heavyweight. I mean, the narrative is very clear here. You got Susurkaev, who's young, hungry, and has finishing power, versus McConico, who, 10-3-1, not that many UFC fights, but still experienced, Brazilian, and, proven that he can be a tough out at times. Looking at their styles, though, for Susurkaev, he believes fully in his power, and, believes in his path to victory. He stands at 6'2", and he carries a mix of good kickboxing and wrestling fundamentals, the kind of hybrid in MMA that you really enjoy. Susurkaev enters with pace, intent, and an eye for finishing. As 8 of his 10 wins have come by knockout. But there's more to his game than just his power. You've seen in his debut, he was able to weather a rough first round over Eric Nolan, who, was a welterweight coming up. But Eric Nolan had good boxing, good power, and he hurt Susurkaev in the first round. It was a rough first round. Susurkaev came back. He used his composure and grappling to shift the fight and locked up the second round rear naked choke. What stands out, too, is his willingness to fight at range, use his length and his striking. And then, when the moment demands, Susurkaev can drag the fight into grappling terrain where he can dominate. He doesn't win. He doesn't have one method of victory. He has versatility. For Eric McConico, you could say his game is more meat and potatoes. Best way I could put it, he's not flashy, but you respect the time he's logged in. And at 6'4", he fights out of the U.S. And McConico fights out of the southpaw stance. He's got a decent striking and submission wins on his record. Of the 10 wins, 4 by knockout, 3 are by sub. So 7 finishes in total. His strength lies in his fight IQ at times and his ability to game plan and survive the storm. But he's taken his lumps, 3 losses. So he's known the adversity side of MMA, and the narrative for him is to make the most of every opportunity, especially in the UFC. Pushing pace when needed, but also avoiding pitfalls when he's vulnerable. Now, where he's vulnerable at, compared to Susurkaev's finishing, punching power, and athletic leap, McConico may not have the same explosiveness or the same margin for error at this point in his career. As you saw with in his fight with Nurutsian Ruzaboyev, where Ruzaboyev landed a right hand on the temple. Didn't look like it fully landed clean, but it had McConico on baby deer legs. Now, how I see these two meeting in the middle, it's quite obvious who should win, really. When these two step in the octagon, what will the story of the fight look like? Well, Susurkaev will want to assert his length, his strikes, and use his kicks/boxing combinations to control the distance. And I think he'll want to keep McConico at bay at times and make McConico fight off the back foot, prevent the veteran from ever setting up his range. For McConico, on the other hand, he'll want to narrow the gap. He'll want to test the waters early. See how Susurkaev responds under pressure. Perhaps, go for clinching and some takedowns as well. I don't think he's going to take Susurkaev down. This is a training partner of Khamzat Chimaev. So, he's dealing, he's training with one of the best, if not the best wrestler in the whole UFC. The pivotal moments will happen here where transition meets control. If Susurkaev can keep the fight at his pace, at range where he can strike, then cut angles, and mix in takedowns or clinch when McConico tries to mount offense, he's going to force McConico to fight defensively. But, I'll give McConico this. If he can stay composed, avoid being tagged for, 15 minutes or less of this fight, right, and drag moments into grappling exchanges where experience can count more than pure explosiveness, then, he has a path to victory. But I lean towards Susurkaev because his pace and pressure will likely tilt the middle rounds. McConico may have his moments early, but maintaining that level against a younger, dynamic athlete who is rapidly improving will be the challenge. And Susurkaev's ground game gives him a backup plan. If his striking doesn't finish it, he can push for the takedowns, transitions, and submissions. We know he has it, and we know he can transition if striking doesn't working. So I see Susurkaev taking this fight. I expect him to stay sharp, establish his striking, perhaps face a moment of adversity early from McConico, try to disrupt of the rhythm, but Susurkaev will respond mid-fight. He'll begin to tilt in his favor, go for takedowns, go for control time, go for good striking, probably a finish. If this fight does go the distance, I'd be shocked, to be honest with you. I'm obviously picking Susurkaev. He should win this fight. I mean, you look at the odds, right? He is minus 800. Yeah. You'd never like to back an 8-1 favorite at times, MMA. Anything can happen. But he should win this fight. If he does not finish Eric McConico, I'll be shocked. I'll tell you that right now. I'll be shocked. I'm picking Susurkaev. I think he can win. I'm leaning towards the knockout in this one. He's got really good power. He's got really good timing. You've seen McConico at times, if you land the right shot on him, he's going to go to sleep or, start looking like he's walking on ice. So, once again, I'm picking Susurkaev, and I'm picking him via knockout in this one. But with that being said, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win. With that being said, stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see y'all next time.